Hello, hello, and welcome back. It's been a while, but yeah, finally back to the painting desk. I have taken the week off. Really, haven't been painting for an entire week since the competition. I really needed that break from painting. um, and yeah, last Friday I had a little Halloween party, and I can't keep saying no to everything. I mean, as nice as it is to do these streaming sessions, sometimes I got to socialize as well. So I decided to come back today. Just the normal Sunday streaming, really. And I have been looking at Wally here and thinking about how to paint this pile of rubbish, really. Um, so the artist in me wanted to add some greenery, like some moss and small plants, but then I realized the entire thing that is going on here is the fact that they are so happy they finally found a plant in a boot. There can't be any moss, there can't be any small plants, so this little green thing here should be the only green thing on there. So, the new plan is to go for different colors of browns, orange, and gray. I mean, it's just a pile of junk, really. So, we've got some dirt, we've got some rusting metal, probably some different kind of stones, like the pillars here. In my mind, they are these, how do you call them? They write like the directions on them, like with an arrow. If you go left, it's this and that amount of kilometers to get there, something like that, you know. But also maybe some bricks. So I'm really thinking about grays and reds for the rocks, for the stones. And then for the bottom here, different colors of that brown with some orange in between. And then coming back in with some metallics, some true metallic metal. And just picking out small things like the gear. I think it's a gear. Same here as well. Some small cans and such, but it's all so old, they will probably just be rust. So I think it's the best idea to just paint them a simple metallic color and then adding that same rust effect that I used on Wally here as well. So yeah, that's the idea really. Browns, orange, grays. Does not have to be very clean looking. I mean, it's a pile of rubbish. How clean does it need to be? And also to finish it, I asked my husband to print me a quick base, which was done in like half an hour. Very nice. And it fits on there like a glove. I will have to fix that gap that I accidentally got there with a print malfunction. I mean, this thing has been waiting for so long for me to paint it. It was back when I just started 3D printing and had so much to learn. But yeah, I can fix that. But first things first, let's start to paint this thing right here. And look for some colors to use, really. So I'm going to put the base away, take Wally off as well. I'd only put him in place with some poster tack as to make it easier to paint the base. Let's see. Brown. Ooh. Apparently I didn't close that bottle. Nice. Oh, browns. Orange. Let's see. Gray. Maybe this as well. Maybe something like that. I think I can work with those. And of course purple for the shadows and a light yellow for the highlights. So let's throw it all onto the wet palettes after shaking, of course. And then just go for it, really. Ooh, it's a new color. Still have to open the bottle. Come on. It's a bit clogged because I forgot to put the lid back on. And I'm not going to try to squeeze it just a bit harder, because I know how that will end up. Paint going everywhere. So, looks like a nice collection of colors. And I think I'm just going for some wet blending. So I'm gonna keep my paint very wet. Lots of moisture on the brush, really. And then let it blend on its own. It's a nice little technique, especially for things like the base. Right, also need black on there. And I should look into buying some new black because I'm running out already. I mean, black is a color you use quite often, especially with shadows and such. So I should purchase maybe a couple of them instead of just the one. Okay, let's see. I would like a bit more color here, especially with that plant in front of it. It would look a bit too boring if I would go for a gray here. So I think I want some orange going on in the back of the plant. So let's just start there and hope I don't get any orange on her body, because that would not end well. It would be quite difficult to get it white again. So adding some water on the base and then getting some wet paints, starting with the orange. And it really does not have to look clean. Let's see, adding a bit of browns. Let's get some black in there as well. Maybe add a bit of a lighter color. The thing that will really tie it together is when I dry brush the entire thing, when it's dry of course, and bring out all the details. So for now I'm going to let the colors do their own thing, just blend with each other. I'm just picking some colors randomly from the palette. I mean, that looks way more interesting than just going for a gray. So far I have almost used all the colors. I used 5 out of 6 options I have on the wet palette in front of me. And because Wally has some color going on, I'm going for a more grayish stone on this side. Should add a bit more water. It's a bit difficult to wet blend if there isn't much moisture going on. Just a bit of brown. And of course, I also need some shadow on that side. So coming back in with some black and purple. Mostly focusing on the back and the bottom. Maybe a bit more here as well. And I mean, when it's dry, you can add more shadow, you can add a better highlight. But at first, I'm just focusing on just getting the colors on there, really. So let's see. Where Wally is situated, I will need a darker base, of course. But I don't want it to be too boring for the pieces that are peeking underneath him, peeking out. Of course, I need more water. So there's a lot of color going on already. If the camera could focus, that would be nice. Thank you. And especially here where it's already starting to dry, you can really see that effect coming in. I mean, it's not boring. I think it's going to be very cool when it's done. Bit more black. That was funny. The viewer count went from 1 to 10 back to 1. I was like, what's going on? Just some lurkers, always welcome. I mean, I'm just here doing my thing, just enjoying it. And if people want to watch, that's a nice bonus. And with some darks underneath. Try not to touch the wet paint. Let's see, get some browns in there. Just very randomly. Really doesn't matter which colors you use, as long as it's a bit different from each other. Like, you don't want too many colors looking the same in the same area, because then you won't get the nice blended look. It will all just end up being like this pile of whatever. Need a bit lighter. I do like that orange. I'm going to add a bit more. Looks like I'm painting a aquarium bottom or something. I mean, I could envision this with some fish on top. Especially since the paint is very wet. I'm going for some more purple here and there. Because why not? Maybe not overdo it. Just muting it down a bit with some browns. I do love some good purples, but it shouldn't be too in your face, you know? So just filling in the last pieces. Going for a nice reddish brown. I think that all ties it together very pretty. If you can call this pretty. You just want everything covered, really. No weird gaps. Just a colorful pile of rubbish. Oh, I forgot quite the part. I'll get to it. bit more blacks in the shadow. Can't forget that I painted Wally with a very clear shadow part. So this also needs more shadow. But like I said before, you can always add more shadow when everything is dry. Just go in for a simple wash. I mean, that's all fine. And just reapply some water to your brush if it's getting a bit too dry, because we want that wet blending, so it needs to be wet. There's something where I can hold it. I think this part is mostly dry now. Would be nice to actually paint all the parts instead of waiting for it to be dry. Let's paint the back side as well, before I forget it again. Maybe a little bit of purple here as well, and just blend it in a bit more. I think that should do it. I think I need to grab the blow dryer. Unless you would like to wait for this to actually be dry. Yeah, you know what? I'll be right back. Just quickly run over to the blow dryer. back again. I mean, that looks like a pile of rubbish, really, in a good way. Let's see with Wally on there. I think that worked out really nicely. And of course, I still need to add more shadows and do some dry brushing. Something I rarely do, to be honest, dry brushing. But it would really work out very nicely with all these random shapes going on. So yeah, let's do that. Should I keep him in place? I think I'm going to tack him in so I can do some dry brushing around him and be certain about the placement of the highlights. So a bit of sticky stuff. Just keeping him in place for the moment. And then I can dry brush around him. Let's see if my brush is dry. Let's go for that light yellow. I mean, it is my highlight color. Picks up all the edges quite nicely. That should do it. And it leaves a nice impression of where Wally will be. So I don't need to dry brush that, but I do need to add a bit more shadow to those parts. Let's see, get a bit more of that black and purple, but thin it down Just a bit more. Let's see. Also adding a bit more of that shadow on the parts that really just should have shadow, really. So like this indent here. This would definitely need more shadow than the parts here, so I'm just adding a bit of that thinned down black and purple. And you can just pick the parts of which you think should need more shadow. Just add with small bits at a time. And if you've overdone it, just go back in with some dry brushing, really. It's really easy to fix. And of course more shadow in the back. And if you add the shadows over the dry brushed highlight, you still have a highlight, but it's darker. So you still have that a bit more depth. I think that's always good to have, because you don't want to have a boring looking shadow side. At least I don't. You can always add multiple layers, of course. Some parts need a bit more shadow, some just a bit less. Just try and see what you like. I mean, that's the most important thing about it, as long as you like it. And everything will be fine. As long as you like what you do. A bit more here. So let's see. Should I go for metallic paints or maybe just a gray and then cover it anyway with the rust effect? not sure really. Let's just go for a gray and then cover it with the rust effects and then just stipple in the tiniest amount of metallic paint so it's has just a bit of a shimmer. I think that can be a nice effect. So grays first. This part, for example. This little can right here. There are quite some cans on this piece. Just noticed that at the moment. Always nice, like a little treasure hunt. Gear as well. And it does not have to be a clean paint job, like there will be rust effects going over them, so it will blend in quite nicely, really. Is there more? Another can. Maybe something like this. Let's see, where did I keep the rusts? So using the liquid pigments, you can even thin it down with some water if you like. Just adding a bit of water. Fan it out. Just a bit more. I think that is more natural way of rust. It won't just stay in one spot with all the rain and everything. It will run with the gravity. So I'll just fan that out a bit. I do want a bit of brighter rust in there because I used the medium rust. But I also have the orange rust. So it's quite different. Just going to add a tiny bit of this as well. Don't want it too boring. Just randomly applying that too. Like that. And while that is drying, there are some spots I wanted to fix, like in between his arm and his body. Apparently I missed some paint right there. So it's a nice moment to tackle that right now. Just going for a dark gray, really. And that brush is way too thick. I need a smaller brush, which I luckily have. It's just some small details, but it's always nice to just paint a bit, make it look more interesting. I mean, there are parts that you probably won't even see on a picture, but I know it's there and it bothers me if I can see some whites peeking through. Or well, whites. Light gray. Gray of the primer. And if it looks too clean, just add a bit more of that rust effect. So the base is drying nicely. The rust isn't as vibrant as it was before. And it's almost dry. So let's see where I keep my metallics, because I rarely use them. But I think it would look nice to do just the smallest edge highlight with some silver. Like not the dark metal I use for Wally. I want something to just break up this mess. Mess in a good way, by the way. I'm not calling it a mess, but it is. Maybe anthrax metal? It's been standing still for a long time, so hopefully it's still usable. I think it's clogged. Or at least I hope it is, because if not, it's probably run dry. Ah, it was clogged. Hooray! And now it's coming to life. Calm down, calm down. Let's see. Just a tiny bit. Something like that. I think it can be nice. Should I maybe also add a tiny bit of metallic highlights on Wally? Maybe just a bit. And it does not have to be pretty. But as long as the parts are still moving, they will have some silver peeking through. When it stands still, the rust will do its thing really and get everywhere. But as long as the parts are still moving, you still will have some exposed metal. Don't want too much. I think that's a nice add-on to what I already have painted. something like that. Just a bit of a shimmer, breaking up the dullness. I like it. And I still have to make that boot plant pot. But I have not decided on the plant just yet. I was thinking about a coffee plant, making it just a bit more humorous. Because the idea of humans not being able to live without a coffee plant. So hooray, there's a coffee plant growing. So maybe. I've never owned a coffee plant before, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it to live inside of a boot, really. So maybe stick to something I do know. Oh, let's see. I very much like this part, but right here it's a bit too much of the same, I think. Let's see. Adding some water here and there. Just coming back in with some lighter colors. Maybe some more shadows. Not too purple. something like that. Felt like that needed just a bit more shadow. I'm just using that same purple black wash, just adding it a bit into the shadow area. Don't fall off, please. Adding just a little bit of purple into the shadows. I think they look a bit too boring for my taste. Oops, stay. Maybe I should just glue him in place instead of trying to hold him. Because sooner or later I'm going to drop him. And that would be a shame. And I'm using a gel type of glue. It's thicker, so it will fill up the gap quite nicely. You don't have to be afraid of not having enough glue in there. A bit more in there. He's so flexible. It's a bit scary, to be honest. But his wheels, they move a lot. So I'm glad I can finally glue him down now, before I break something. Success. Do I have something to get it off my glove before I glue myself to the desk? We which sounds like something I would do. Well, hello there. I'm glad you think it's adorable. I totally agree. I mean, come on, it's Wally. And Eva. Should not forget her. So they are almost done. I really not like the rust effect. Like it breaks it up just a bit more, and I wanted a bit more color going on. I really wanted to add more green, but I can't because this is the only plant. I really like that. How long? So this is the third Twitch session, which would mean I'm probably like 4 hours in? 4 or 5 hours, something like that. Let's say 4 hours because I'm talking, so I'm taking my time a bit more than usual. I think 4 hours. Thank you. Let me zoom in a bit so I can show you the details. I especially like his eyes, the lenses. I had to look up an example of how to paint that, but I think it looks quite well. Hey, what the fuck? That is weird. Oh. No idea. My camera probably disagreed. I mean, it was behaving like the battery died, but that's not possible because it's connected to the power socket. No idea. Anyway, I'm back. So yeah, I also, I really like how the plant turned out. Nice bright green, without it looking too chemical. And of course the weathering on his body. I mean, we're currently at the junkyard, so he should not look too clean. It's a print. It's by Nom Nom. So I support their Patreon, and they have all these very cool sculpts every month. This one is quite old by now. I think it's been a couple of years since I printed them. Including the mistakes I made back then. I have been painting for 9 years now, doing quite different things. Like this project was just something for fun after painting for competition. And I actually have the piece from the last competition still on my desk. So it's quite different. But this one actually won a bronze medal last weekend at the Scale Model Challenge competition. Something realistic. camera. Focus. So after the competition, I really needed something fun. So sometimes I paint like more fantasy but more realistic types of things. And sometimes I'm just painting Pokemon. So it really depends on what I feel like painting at the moment. But they are all painted in my personal style, where I usually use purple in my shadows and bright yellow in my highlights. So if I would use a red in my shadows, I would go for a green in the highlights. If I go for a purple in the shadows, I would go for a yellow in the highlights. So always picking the colors opposite of the color wheel. Creates a very strong contrast. Very amateur. How long have you been painting? I mean, it's such a fun hobby to get into, and all the new things you can learn. Three years is a nice amount. So what are the things you enjoy most about painting at the moment? In the meantime, I'm going to stick this mini on a base. Bases are so fun, like adding all the little plants and tufts and everything. Just going outside and find small leaves and twigs and everything you can use. The free fun stuff. Ooh, there's some warping. I have learned so much about 3D printing since this print here. Really should fill those gaps. So I bought a 3D printer years ago on a, what do you call them? The Black Friday sales. And I just got a Anycubic Photon Mono 4K, I think it was. Just like 200 euros. And since then I've been printing stuff by Nom Nom figurines and whatever I could get my hands on. And this was one of my first, and as you can see, it had so many gaps. Oh, it's terrible. I mean, it's on there. Like, the glue is very, very good, but I need to put some stuff in between there. The Elegoo Saturn. Do you like it? I mean, I only have experience with the one I have, but it's always nice to hear different opinions on different printers. Got some 2-component sculpting stuff. I'm just going to mix some in the meantime and stuff it in there. Oh, sweet. I had some issues at first as well, but once I got the hang of it, the prints are turning out amazing. Like this one here. Let me zoom in. See the little pine cones? They are so small, but I printed them. Same as the skull, the deer skull. Especially this right here. Look how small that is. That's my finger. But the details are so crisp. Also the antlers here, very sharp. Turned out amazing. The tree stump as well, it's printed, but then I covered it in, how do you call that? Flock? Like the little leafy stuff. Yeah, sometimes that printer still amazes me. The small details it can print. It's insane. So got some 2 component stuff here. Just 50-50. Just going to mix it and fill up the gaps of the base. Because you guys seem to really like this painted miniature. So I am thinking about putting it up for sale. And then like give 60% or something to a good cause. I think that would be a nice thing. Because I'm painting all these projects and I can't keep everything. So the idea is just to sell them after. And then just donate the money. Because I'm just having fun here, really. That's nicely mixed. Let's get a snake going. Yeah, I still haven't put any shelving up yet. So it's mostly the desk. Even the competition minis, they are just everywhere. I really should do something about that. So I want to at least sell the miniatures that don't have any like emotional value to me. Like the competition pieces, I'm not going to sell them. I mean, I've put my heart and soul into them and I would like to keep them. But like pieces I painted here on Twitch, I could definitely sell them and then do something good with the money. Like I said, just donate it to a good cause. I will definitely have to look into the options. Like I'm not just going to give money away to whichever name comes to mind. I want to do some research and then donate something that means something to me. This stuff is really nice. Like when it has hardened, you can sand it. Not like green stuff, for example. It's not going to get rubbery. Really has a nice finish. And you can take your time to actually sculpt with it, because it won't harden that fast. Milliput is nice too. It's a bit expensive to my taste, but it is very nice because you can also sand it. So the only negative thing I can say about it is the price. But it's not too bad. It's just this one is, I think I've had it for over 5 years, and it still works great. Should have done this before I painted the base, but I always have great timing. One day I'll learn how to plan things like this. Just dipping the tools in some water, and you can smooth it out. Pretty great. Same with Milliput, by the way. Just some water. I also heard about people using alcohol, like the isopropyl alcohol, and then mix it until it is like more of a paste. I have not tried it yet. Looks like I need more. This is the last piece I have, and I'm still not around the entire piece. I stream 2 hours at a time and twice a week. So the plan is Friday and Sunday, but sometimes I have to change the plans. Like last Friday I had a small Halloween party, and I decided to cancel the stream. But the usual plan is every Friday, every Sunday for 2 hours. And 2 hours feels like a good amount of time, because whenever I stream longer, it starts to feel like it's something I have to do instead of wanting to do. Well, is the timing a bit good for you? I mean, I'm often with the time zones and everything, but since I'm in the Netherlands, it just worked for me to stream from 7:30 p.m. to, well, 2 hours later, really, like I said, before I start repeating myself. And whenever I'm done with streaming, I also add it to my YouTube channel, so people can watch it, just the same stream really, with some music in the background, but they can watch it whenever it's suitable, whichever time zone they are in. So here on stream I can't really use music due to copyright strikes and them muting my entire stream. So I decided not to use music here, and then when I put it on YouTube I will add some music in the background. What is my camera focusing? Almost done with filling up the gap. And I think it should be completely hardened by tomorrow. So unfortunately I cannot paint it right now. But I mean, it's fine. Would be a bit boring anyway. Just made a bit too much. But I'm not going to put it to waste, so I'm just going to add it to the rest. You can add something here, then there as well. And I mean, my streams are usually like this, just painting a bit, chatting to people, talking about nonsense. And I mean, sometimes I only have lurkers, sometimes people are very chatty. It's all fine, really. Like I said earlier, in this stream session, I'm just here to have fun. And if people want to watch and chat, that's just a bonus. I feel like it really has helped me to push my boundaries since I started streaming my paint jobs. I'm just doing my thing here, really. Just enjoying slapping colors on, sometimes a bit more trying new stuff. So it can be anything, really. Just smoothing out the putty stuff, so I don't have to sand anything. Oh, also a bonus about this product. It smells like popcorn. Which is quite weird, really. But I don't mind. Usually the hobby stuff is quite smelly, like chemical smells. And then to have to work with something that smells like popcorn, it's quite nice, really. Okay, so everything is nicely filled up, no more weird gaps. Taste it. You can try it first, okay? Let's not do that. So yeah, this is the sculpting stuff. You just mix it 50-50. One part this, one part that. Mix it together and you've got this amazing smelling sculpting putty, really. Just had to find the correct word. Yeah, I really like it. It's quite old by now, but it still works great. So you don't have to worry about how old it is, because I think it's about 5 years old by now. And I mean, it still works like the day I bought it. Not sponsored, by the way. I just really like it. I'm not really sure where I bought it, to be honest. I think it was at Green Stuff World. I think it's where I bought it. Should check that. Anyway, this is all I can do really, because this stuff needs to harden, and it will only be hard tomorrow. So I think this is going to be the end of the stream tonight. And the only thing left to do is paint the base, so it's not really stream worthy. So I'm probably just going to paint this tomorrow. I think I'm just going for a black base. And then put the pictures on Instagram. Like, I will still show the end result, of course. But it's not really another 2 hours of stream worthy, and it would be a bit weird to switch to a different project halfway in. So I think that is what I'm going to do. So no pictures today. I will finish it tomorrow, and then I will take pictures and put them on Instagram so you can watch it without me moving it around and without camera malfunctions, like And then of course I will put it on YouTube as well. Add some music. Cut the first part off where I was still setting up everything. Just the usual really. And then people can watch it whenever it suits them. Like, you want to watch it in the middle of the night? Go ahead. Want to watch it at work? Like your lunch break for 2 hours? It's a good lunch break. Anyway, you can do that. So, yeah, thank you for being here. And it was nice to have somebody being all chatty. So, thank you for that. And I hope to see you in the next stream. I'm not sure what I'm going to paint next Friday. I will come up with something. Got plenty of things on my tower of suggestions. So, I mean, if you have an idea, something you would really like to see me paint, you can always just send me a message on Instagram or on YouTube. Facebook even, but I'm not really chatty on Facebook, it's just my backup Instagram. But yeah, just try and come to find me, have another chat. Ooh, Fallout. I can see if I can do anything with that. Probably have something. I will look into that. Thank you. Before I start to ramble, like another hour, just thank you for being here, and hopefully see you in the next stream. Bye.